Praise the Lord. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. For this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it and be glad. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Supreme Total Fitness Coaching Show. I am your coach, Don Jenkins, where our motto is we are getting better and we are moving forward one day at a time, one area at a time, one thing at a time, but we are being intentional about getting better and about progressing and moving forward. I am a holistic coach. We focus on the spirit, the body, and the soul. The whole you. Supreme means the highest and greatest and the best or the principal. And we know God is the highest and He's the greatest and He's the best. And we've been created in His image. So our job is to encourage you, to push you to be at your highest and greatest and best expression of who you are from a spiritual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a mental and emotional standpoint. Total means whole, complete. So we just don't focus just on the spirit man. We focus on the whole man, the body and the soul. And fitness means overall well-being. So we want you to be spiritually fit. The Bible teaches us we got to fight the good fight of faith. So we have to be equipped. We have to be spiritually fit. But we also want you to be physically fit. Mental and emotional fit. You know this thing called life. You got to be mentally and emotional fit to endure and persevere to become the best, highest, and greatest expression of who you are. So the spiritual health is a priority. So we want you to get better and to progress in your spiritual health. Your physical health should be your priority. Health should be your priority. We focus on pursuing your health. Spiritual health, physical health, mental health, and emotional health. Spirit, body, soul. So as a holistic coach, our goal is to transform your life. Come on, come on, come on. You have done great things. You have overcome a lot of stuff. But the fact that you're still here, there's so much more for you to do. And as a coach, my job is to walk with you, to coach you, to encourage you, to challenge you, to sharpen you. Iron sharpens iron. To be the best, highest, and greatest expression of who you are. That's what supreme, total fitness is all about. The whole man. So over the last, really for the month of November, last couple of weeks, we've been focused on a motivational coaching. We've been focused on motivate. We talked about pressing forward. Ooh, it's a press, it's a push. Yeah, but we talked about pressing away from your past, pressing through the process, and pressing towards your goals. And then we talked about unstoppable faith. My God, unstoppable faith. We talked about that believing faith, that fighting faith, and that unwavering faith. If you missed those two shows, I just gave it to you in a nutshell. Go to YouTube, type in Supreme Total Fitness, and you'll be able to rewind those shows, catch up on those shows. There's a lot of good coaching gems that are in those shows. So again, we talked about unstoppable faith last week. The week before we talked about pressing forward. And today, our motivational session is going to be about overcoming obstacles, or overcoming struggles, overcoming challenges. So we all have struggles. We all have challenges. We all have obstacles that are standing in the way for us to be at our highest and greatest and best expression of who God created us to do. So again, this is a coaching session, not a preaching session. Some of y'all that want to tune in to get a word, you will get a word. But it's going to come from a coaching standpoint. But as a holistic coach, the foundation is the Word of God that I stand on, which is the core of who you and I are. Remember, we are spiritual beings that live in the body that possesses a soul. So what I come from a coaching standpoint, is I come from, the foundation is the Word of God, the spiritual thing. But I'm not here to preach at you. I'm here to just give you some coaching tools that you and I can have as we deal with the issues called life. So overcoming obstacles. Overcoming obstacles. We have to be real with ourselves. We have to examine ourselves. If you and I are going to overcome those obstacles that stand in our way. The struggle is real. And in order for us to overcome the struggle, we got to keep it real. I know I'm already talking to somebody under the sound of my voice. Because the truth be told, we all struggle. We all have struggles. Some of our struggles is losing weight. Some of us struggle in getting in shape. Some of us have struggles of fear and doubt, low self-esteem. Others have struggle of procrastination, constantly putting things off. Some of us struggle with discipline. We have a lack of discipline. We can get better. We can be our highest and our best and our greatest expression of ourselves if we just had discipline. A lot of us struggle with rejection. Some of us struggle with depression, adversity, and fear. So in order for us to overcome the struggle or the challenges, I call it the obstacles that try to hinder us from going to the next level. Oh God. We have to first keep it real with ourselves and admit that we do have struggles. And it's okay. It's a part of life. Life is your ups and your downs, your changes and your turnarounds. Life is the good and the bad, the happy and the sad. All that is a part of life. And That's why the obstacles, the pain, the process, the struggle is real. So if you and I are going to overcome struggles, we got to keep it real. Overcoming obstacles means that you can work through a challenge in order to achieve a goal. Coaching. You can overcome a challenge in order to achieve a goal. So that obstacle might be in the way, but the good news is we can overcome it and work through it. Somebody said work through it. To achieve it. Oh God, I just gave you some nuggets right there. We can overcome it, but we got to work through it so that we can achieve whatever that thing is. Let me give you I did something that I've never done in my life before ever, yesterday. And I overcame the struggle, the challenge, the obstacle, and I was able to achieve the goal. I ran my first half marathon ever in the life of Don Jenkins. Never in the history of my life that I've ever ran 13.1 miles. What an accomplishment. I'm encouraging myself. But the journey to doing that, it was a struggle. If I can keep it real, it was a struggle. It was a struggle mentally. It was a struggle physically. I had to overcome many obstacles that challenged me in that struggle. But after 3 hours, in 3 minutes, I achieved that goal of doing something that I've never done in the history of my life. Ooh. Oh, y'all don't understand now what that means to me. But I want to encourage somebody that this is the season to do something that you've never done before. I said this is the season to do something that you want to do that you have never done before. This is the season of overcoming those obstacles, overcoming those challenges, overcoming those struggles. And Lord knows it was a struggle. 2 weeks prior to that, as me preparing to run this marathon, half marathon, I told you last week, you had to go back to go to Don Jenkins. I want to go to Supreme Total Fitness Coaching and see the message last week. That it was a struggle just to do 10 miles. And in that 10-mile struggle, I accomplished it. But I felt the recovery was not an easy recovery for a middle-aged, distinguished gentleman, ambassador of Christ such as I am. Ooh, it was a struggle. Mentally, it was a struggle. Physically, it was a struggle. And it took me about 4 to 5 days to truly overcome the aches and pain of achieving 10 miles as I was preparing for the half that I did yesterday. So mentally, going into yesterday, all week long, I was in the battle. I was in the battle of the mind because I knew how I felt 2 weeks ago. My foot was hurting, my calf was hurting, my hips was hurting, my back was tightening up. And I knew that doing this half a marathon, I understood and I knew that it was going to be a struggle. See, in order for us to overcome those obstacles and overcome those challenges and struggles, you got to keep it real with yourself and understand that I can work through it so that I can achieve it. But mentally, it was a struggle. And many of us struggle in life from a mental standpoint. And we allow the obstacles and the challenges and the struggles to hinder us from becoming everything that God says that we are. So we got to admit the battle. As a coach, I'm admitting to you, I was in a battle. 2 weeks ago, I was struggling. It took me 4 to 5 days just to get over the physical part, the aches and the pains of doing 10. Now, I've done 10 miles over the course of my life more than once, but I have never done 13.1 miles. And yesterday, I accomplished that goal. I had to overcome those obstacles, those challenges from a mental standpoint and also a physical standpoint. So today I'm going to give you just 4 things, 4 coaching tools. I'm not here to preach at you. Remember, this is not a preaching show, even though I am a preacher. If I get excited, I don't want to preach at you. You already got your word. But I want to give you some coaching tips, some coaching gems, some coaching principles to help you. That's why I'm letting you know the obstacles and the struggles that I have, to hope to encourage you to overcome the obstacles and challenges and struggles you have. See, if we be real with each other, we all have struggles. None of us is perfect. We all go through this thing called life, which is ups and downs, which is changes and turnarounds. Some are good and bad, and others are happy and also sad. That's life. So in order to continue to get better and to continue to move forward one day at a time, we got to admit that we have struggles. And I just use me running that marathon, half a marathon yesterday, of many struggles that I had to overcome from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint. And that whole journey to achieve that goal of doing something that I've never done in the history of my life. Never. It was a struggle. So let's talk about overcoming struggles, overcoming obstacles, overcoming the challenges, whether they're depression, whether they're rejection, whether it's fear, whether it's procrastination, whether it's low self-esteem, whether it's negative thinking, or how about this, negative talking, or whatever that struggle is. We all can overcome it. But I'm going to give you four coaching tools that I believe if we do these things, we can overcome the obstacles that we face on a daily, weekly, monthly, and a yearly basis. And the first one is you got to have courage to deal with it. Woo-wee. That's a good tool, courage. Courage. If you're going to overcome the obstacles, the challenges, or the struggles that we all deal with in life, number one, you got to have courage to deal with it. Wait. You got to have courage to deal with it. Let me say that again. You got to have courage to deal with it. You gotta have, some folks would say heart or guts. You got to be brave. Or boldness. You ever get to a place where you're sick and tired of being 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 sick and tired, and you're ready to go to the next level? And you've had this challenge, these obstacles. It could be an eating challenge, it could be an alcohol challenge, it could be a self-esteem challenge, it could be an overcoming rejection challenge, it could be overcoming fear challenge. Whatever that challenge is, whatever that obstacle is, you have to have the courage to deal with it. Ooh-wee. The courage. Gotta be tough, brave. You have to have a determination that I've reached the point in my life that I'm ready to overcome this thing that has challenged me. Now, going back to me, 2 weeks ago I ran that 10 miles. 4 to 5 days, my body was struggling. The most ever I have done in my entire life was 10 miles. Now I'm facing something that I've never done before. 13.1 miles. And here I am, middle-aged, distinguished ambassador of Christ, with a bunch of other folks, all races, all sizes. And then the race begins. Wow. And I had to overcome all those obstacles that I had to deal with. Y'all ain't talking. I had to have the courage to deal with it. I almost talked myself out of it. Let me back up a little bit. Prior to the race, he says, I don't know if I want my body to go through this again. The aches and the pains, the struggles. Because remember 2 weeks ago, I struggled just to do 10. But I felt it for almost 4 to 5 days. The aches in my hips, aches in my calves, the bottom of my foot, back tighten up. And so, be honest with you, I thought, and I did almost stop myself. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to donate that money that I paid for the race. And I'm allowed my body some extra time to go through it. And 3 days prior to the race, I started getting these texts from the committee of the race. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I can do this. So I had to have the courage to deal with it. I'm going to do it. I had to have the bravery. I can do this. I had to have the determination. I can do it. I had to be strong and be courageous. Y'all ain't talking to me. I don't know what your struggle is. I don't know what your challenge is. I don't know what your situation you're dealing with right now, but you got to have the courage to deal with it if you're going to overcome it. Ooh, how about this? The courage to fight for it. I have to have the courage. I'm going to do this thing. Whew. My mind, all kind of stuff going in my mind. Are you sure you want to take your body through that process again? But I had to have the courage. I had to have the courage. I had to have the courage. I had to have the courage, the boldness, the bravery, the determination to deal with that obstacle, that challenge, that struggle. Now, I'm off to the races. In the race, it already, after 1 mile, I was struggling. Y'all ain't got to talk to me. Woo. What am I trying to say? Whatever you're going to overcome, maybe it's an eating situation, or a drinking situation, or a thinking situation. It's going to be a struggle because you're trying to do something that you've never done before, and the old stinking thinking is going to constantly challenge you. And man, after the first mile, I was in a battle. And the battle was in my mind. And I still had 12.1 more miles to go. Overweight folks were passing me. Old folks were passing me. Grandmoms and moms were passing me. So I was struggling in my mind. Here we go again. But I didn't quit. People were stopping. People were walking. I ran the whole time. I didn't quit. I had the courage to deal with it. I can do it. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I had to encourage myself in the process. Oh, I'm trying to tell somebody, you got to have the courage to deal with it, and you have to encourage yourself in the process of doing something you have never done before. So number one, courage. Number two, you got to confront that situation. If you and I are going to be overcomers, if we're going to overcome the challenges and the struggles and the obstacles that are in the way of us becoming our highest and greatest and best expression of who God created us to be, not only do we have to have courage to deal with it, we have to confront the situation. We got to confront it. We got to have courage to deal with it, and then we got to confront it. We can't procrastinate. Can't put it off. Can't quit. Can't faint. Can't go backwards. So now, we have to confront that situation. And here I am at the 5 mile mark. And I find myself slowing down as I'm running. As I'm in the process of doing something that I've never done before. Now I'm in the process. But I had to keep the faith. I had to keep the focus. And I had to keep on moving. Y'all missed that. I had to keep the faith. I had to keep the focus. And I had to keep my fight. Woo-wee! I was confronting this thing. And I was still dealing with the mind. Oh my God. My body started to ache. My foot was hurting again. My knees started to ache. felt like my left hamstring was tightening up. People all around me stopping. Old folks, overweight folks, passing me. But I had to keep the faith. I can do this. I had to keep my fight. And I had to keep my focus. Woo! I had to face that situation by keeping my faith. I had to face that situation by keeping my fight. I had to face that situation by keeping my focus. I had to take my mind off of all the stuff that was happening around me. People stopping, people cramping up, people on the side stretching, people stopping and walking. And I was determined not to stop. I was determined not to walk. So I had to confront the situation. I said I was going to do it, and I'm going to do it. I had to keep the faith. And I don't know what you're out there, what you're trying to overcome, but whatever you said you're going to do, you got to confront that situation. You got to face that giant, and you got to do it. Again, this is a motivational coaching. So I'm not here to preach to you. But if I can coach you through the journey in the process, then we can get better one day at a time, one area at a time. So I'm in the battle of my mind. Negative thinking's coming up. I had to take my focus off all the people who stopped in the middle of it. Some folks were stopping and running and stopping and running and stopping and running. But I had to keep my faith. I told myself I wasn't going to stop. My mind said stop. But I had to keep that faith. I had to keep fighting through. I can do this. I can do this. I had to keep encouraging myself. And I had to keep my focus. I had to take my mind off of the distractions that were all around me. It was easy for me to stop. Now here's the thing. I knew if I would have quit, stopped, my legs would have been so heavy, there was no way I would have been able to start. Some folks can do it, but I know me, to stop and then start again. So I had to keep the fight by keeping on moving. Keep the focus. Focus on the prize. I can do this. Remember, I'm trying to do something that I had never done before. So I had to overcome those obstacles in my mind. Overcome those obstacles in the challenge, in my body, in the aches, in the pain. And many times, if you're trying to overcome those things, you're going to deal with the mental and the physical part. And that's the struggle. That's the challenge. And it's easy to quit. It's easy to make excuses. I could just say, just finish. Whether you walk it and run it, or you do both. The fact that you're here and the fact that you finish, that's what counts. I could have easily made excuses. I'm just going to follow the crowd and stop and walk. But I know what I told myself. I can do this. I'm going to do this. I still got 7 miles to go. I'm at the 6 mile mark. My legs are getting heavy. I'm slowing down. But I'm facing that giant. by keeping the faith. I'm trying to help somebody. I don't know what you want to do that you've never done before. I don't know what your struggles are, your obstacles are, whatever that situation is. But you got to keep it real with yourself. I'm keeping it real by using me as an example in something that I did that I've never done in the history of my life. I had to work through the challenges in order to achieve the goals. I'm just trying to help you work through your challenges so that you can achieve whatever your goals are. So remember, number one, you have to have courage to deal with it. Remember, I almost talked myself out of it. I said, no, I'm going to do it. Number two, you got to confront that situation. I'm in the midst of that situation, dealing with the mental and the physical part of the struggle. But I kept the focus, I kept the fight, and I kept the faith. I faced the giant. Number three, so courage, confront. Number three, confidence. I did 6. Now I got to do 7 more. I had to tap into the mindset, the belief, the faith, the confidence that I'm going to do it. And if you're going to do something that you've never done before, you got to have confidence. Just think about this entire world that we live in. The clothes that we have on, the beds that we sleep in, the cars that we drive, the jobs that somebody had to create those things. And somebody had to be tested, had obstacles in creating. But they believe they could do it. And through the process, eventually they did it. They started the business. They read the book. They wrote the book. They accomplished their dreams and their goals. And whatever you're trying to do to overcome those obstacles and challenges, you got to believe. You got to believe. You got to, Jesus said this, all things are possible to him that believe. And you got to get to a place halfway through the race, I had to tap into, I can do it. I can do it. I got 7 more miles and I can do it. And let me give you 3 things I believed in. 3 things that I did. On this confidence. I had confidence in God. I said, God, you're for me. God, you're for me. God, you're for me. God, you're with me. God, you're with me. God, you're with me. God, you're in me. God, you're in me. God, while I'm running through the battle of the physical battle, aches and pain, mental battle, fighting in my mind, I said, God is for me. God is for me. God is for me. God is with me. God is with me. God is with me. God is in me. While I'm running, I'm encouraging myself in the Lord. I'm trying to help somebody. And the coaching tip, I'm not here to preach at you. You got your word from your own preacher. But I'm going to give you some principles that you got to know God is for you. If you're in the household of the kingdom of God, you got to know that God is for you. No matter what you face, no matter what situation is, no matter what the challenge is, I'm talking about overcoming challenges, overcoming obstacles, overcoming the struggle. Whatever your challenge is, whatever your struggle is, whatever your situation is, you have to know that God is for you. You got to have confidence. So I tapped into my core, my foundation. Woo! Took my focus off of that struggle, took my focus off of the challenges, and I had to encourage myself in the Lord. The Lord is my helper. What can man do to me? I am more than a conqueror through him who loves me. I had to tap into my confidence. Number one, my confidence in God. I had to lean not to my own understanding. I had to acknowledge him. I need you right now, halfway through this race. I'm struggling, mental struggle, physical, my foot is hurting, my calves are tightened up, my hips are hurting, and my back is starting to tighten. And the easiest thing to do was just to stop running and walk, like a lot of the other people were doing. Some folks just walk, and then they picked up the pace and ran again, and some folks walk. I had to take my focus off who's passing me. I'm telling you, man, some overweight folks was passing me, some old folks, older than I, and I got gray, but I'm a middle-aged guy, and they were older than I. And they were struggling, I was struggling, they were passing me, and I was still had the confidence. I said, God, I know you're for me. I said, God, I know you're with me. And because I know you're with me, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So in the middle of the race, I'm saying that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. While I'm running, I can do all things. My focus is not on anybody else now. I'm in the midst of the struggle. But I had confidence in my God, not just for me, but my God that's in me. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I want to pause for a second. Life is hard. Life is tough. And we all got obstacles and challenges that we all have to overcome. So we got to know God is with us in the process of us being more than a conqueror. Not just a conqueror, but more than. And we have to develop that confidence. Let me see if I can help you. Some of you spiritual people. So I know that's all you want to do. You want to be this spiritual. But God wants us to be whole. That's why this is a holistic, not just in the spirit realm. I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prosper. That's spirit, body, and soul. And that's what I'm about, the whole man, not just the spirit. It's so super spiritual that I'm no earthly good. He says prosper in everything. Prosper in your health, in your wellness, your soul, mentally, emotionally, intellectually. So that confidence, and so as you're trying to start that new thing or overcome those things that keep stopping you. Some of you is weight loss. Some of you it's your health. Some of you it's a struggle. Eating is a struggle. Exercise is a struggle. Some of your prayer life is a struggle. Oh, watch this. How about your devotional life? It's a struggle. How about your mental life? You're quick to react in anger. That's a struggle. The Bible says be quick to hear, slow to speak, but as soon as somebody says something that you don't like, you fight back with your tongue, not realizing the power of life and death is in the tongue. So you speak negative in someone else's life and also in your own life. That's a struggle. The way you see things, the way you, oh God. You want to be accepted. So when you get rejected, you have a struggle of understanding whose you are and who you are in Christ. But if you're going to overcome the challenges, if you're going to overcome the struggles, if you're going to overcome those obstacles so that you can do something that you've never done before, remember, you got to have courage to deal with it. Number two, you have to confront that situation. Number three, you got to have confidence, belief. Not only you got to believe that God is for you, He's with you and He's in you, but you got to believe in yourself. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And in the midst of me doing something that in the history of my life I've never done before. Yesterday I'm in this race. I'm running this half a marathon and I'm struggling in the midway and I have to tap into that confidence. I am more than a conqueror. I can do all things through God. God is with me. Take my focus off of everything else that's around me. And why I'm struggling in the mental state, struggling in the physical state, I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I didn't stop. I just kept the faith. I kept on running. I kept on running. And then there was the biggest hill in this race. Wow. And people were stopping to go up the hill. And then they picked up and run. But again, remember this. That confidence, you got to have confidence in yourself, not what other people, what they're doing or what they're saying, or how they living or what they're doing. That's their world. You got to stay in your own place. You can't be like other people or try to follow other people or try to do what other people do. You're trying to do something that you've never done before. Take your eyes off of people. We all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But God still loves you. And the greater is He that's in you. God is in you. It's the same God you pray for. That God is in you. And greater is He that's in you. You got to have confidence. Not only in God, but confidence in yourself. And confidence in your ability. Ooh, that you're going to overcome this challenge. You're going to overcome this situation. And again, I don't know what your challenge is. It could be rejection. It could be depression. It could be alcohol. It could be reading a book. It could be writing a book. It could be starting the business. It could be starting the ministry. It could be whatever the challenge is. You got to have courage to deal with it. You have to confront that situation. You have to have confidence in God, yourself, and in your ability. And in your ability. Not somebody else's ability, but your ability. I can do it. There's a story in the Bible. Some of you super spiritual folks, I'm coming at you now. The David and the Goliath, where David defeated the giant. David had courage to fight. While everybody else around him was afraid. Everybody else around him for 30 days, that giant challenged him. And not one of the army soldiers that were equipped to fight in battles, they all hid for 30 days. And David says, who is? He had the courage, this uncircumcised giant. He had courage to fight. He said, I'll go. He believed in himself. He believed in God. He believed in God. He believed in himself. And he believed in his ability. The same God that was with me when I defeated the bear and the lion is the same God that's going to be with me. He had a confidence in God. He had confidence in himself. And watch this. Saul tried to put his armor. People will always try to put their armor on you. You got to do it man's way. You got to do it this way. You got to understand that God created you fearfully and wonderfully made. You are unique. Stop trying to be what other people want you to be or try to do what other. That's an obstacle you got to get free from. The acceptance of people. People are people. That means they're going to fall short just like you're going to fall short. Every day we all fall short. And so people will try to conform you. People will try to condition you. And if you're going to overcome that, you have to believe in God. You have to believe in yourself. And then David's like, I can't wear your stuff. I got to believe in my own ability. So you got to have confidence in God, yourself, and your ability. Let me close this coaching session. I'm trying to help somebody out there. I gave you something. I'm giving you some real life issues that I had to deal with mentally and physically yesterday. I ran my first half marathon and I finished. I didn't quit. I didn't give up. I didn't stop. I didn't start to walk. I kept the faith. I kept the focus. And I kept my fight. And overcoming that obstacle, I was determined to win. I was determined to finish. Now, I didn't win the race, but I won in the battle of my mind and I won in the battle of my body. I was struggling. Now, watch this. I'm done. You have to conquer your struggles. You have to conquer your obstacles. You have to conquer that challenge. You got to defeat it. I'm at the 10-mile mark. The most I've ever done in the history of my life. I've done some 10-mile runs throughout my life. When I was in Philly and also I'm living in Maryland, the DMV, DC and Virginia area. And I've run some 10 miles here. I was a lot younger. Remember, I'm a middle-aged, distinguished ambassador for Christ. So I finally got to the place where I did what I've always done. Now I'm entering into a new place. That last 3.1 miles. And I had to conquer negative thinking. I had to conquer my aches and pains, my foot hurting, hamstrings getting tighter and tighter, my hips, woo, my back is tightening up. And I'm at the 10-mile mark. And my mind and my body says, you did 10, quit, stop, walk. And people were stopping and walking. But again, I wasn't running their race, I was running mine. I hope y'all getting something out of this. I had to take my eyes off of people and what they were doing and how they were doing it. But I'm keeping it real. Old folks are passing me. Overweight folks are passing me. I'm a health coach, 30 years in the health and fitness business. Do HIIT 2-3 times a week. Do spin bikes 2-3 times a week. Hour cardiovascular over and over. But that's a different type of shape than running 13.1 miles. Come on, y'all, talk to me. And I'm on my last 3.1. And mentally, I'm in a fight. Because I've never done this before. And so I had to defeat that negative thinking. I had to defeat my mind that was trying to say, just walk. You only got 2 more miles to go. But I kept on. I kept on running. I kept on running. And I was slowing down. But I had to conquer this struggle. You can't quit now. You're on the last leg of this process. You can do it. You can do it. I had to defeat every negative thought that kept coming up because I'm in a place that I've never been before. Now I'm at 11 miles. Now I'm at 12 miles. Now let me just pause for a second. I'm almost there. You have to surround yourself around like-minded people. Thousands of us are out there. We all were determined to finish the course, to finish the race. Some of us said whether they walk and run, whether they run, whether they jog. Like I was at a jogging place. I wasn't at a running place. I was jogging. I was barely moving, but I was still jogging. I was keeping the pace. And here's the part what I'm trying to say. We were encouraging each other. Oh my God. This is so good. You got to surround yourself around people who are going to encourage you. Not only were we what one lady walked behind, she said, we only got 1 mile, don't you quit. She must have seen something in my look. I was struggling, to overcome this challenge, to overcome this obstacle. And I said, I got it. There was people on the sideline. They were clapping us. You got 1 more mile. People were speaking into us. And I'm just trying to tell you, as you're trying to overcome that fear or overcome that doubt, overcome that low self-esteem, overcome that spirit of rejection, overcome that depression, overcome that eating habits, overcome not exercising, overcome whatever that thing you're trying to overcome, that challenge. You got to surround yourself around like-minded people. Not people who are going to talk you out of it. That's going to encourage you to go through it. Ooh, that's good. That's good, Coach Don. That's good. And people all around us, we were encouraging each other. And people knew they had a mile, half mile to go. And you can see people at the finish line, and more people at the finish line, they were clapping us, they were clapping. Man, you need that encouragement. As you go through the journey of life, the struggles of life, overcome the thing, surround yourself around other like-minded people who's going to encourage you in the process, encourage you through the challenge, encourage you to keep on going forward. And we started encouraging each other. And sometimes all you need is that one voice. And there was just one person. They were on the side. And they said, don't you quit. And they looked me in the eye, and I looked them in the eye, and I said, thank you. That extra motivation of being around like-minded people. Now watch, it was cold yesterday. It was very windy yesterday, and we're running early in the morning. But there was people throughout the race taking their personal time out. Some of them had cardboard boxes with signs on it, encouraging. Some of them were just speaking life, encouragement, motivation. There's some people that fell out in the middle of the race. They had to call the ambulance. There's one lady just stretched out. There's another couple that's in a wheelchair, and they're rolling. And we're all trying to finish this thing. And we had to conquer this struggle. So we had to encourage each other. Surround yourself around people that have the same common goal. That's good, so that you can encourage each other in getting better. That's why coaches are so crucial in life. I told you I have 2. But coaches are so crucial in life because they encourage you in the struggle. They encourage you through the process so that you can achieve those goals that you are worked through the challenge in order to achieve your goals. That's what coaches are for. And little did these folks know that they were on the sideline, they were coaching us to finish, coaching us not to quit, by speaking life into us while we're in a fight. Now, I'm doing something I've never done before. That encouragement helps. And in life, as you go from one stage to the next stage, one area, one phase of your life to another phase of your life, you need to be around people who encourage you, not people who tear you down. You got enough fight, in your own mind, and your own obstacles you got to overcome. You don't cut out negative thinking, cut out negative people. That's a good way to conquer your struggle, to defeat your struggle, to gain victory over your struggle. You got to have people around you that's going to encourage you. You got to have people around you that are going to speak into you. And as I got to the finish, going up to that finish line, I think that last quarter, it was a small hill. We've already dealt with a couple other hills prior to that. So we had to get up the hill, then sprint, or do your best thing of sprinting. So I saw the finish line. And while people were struggling getting up that hill, walking, my eyes was on the finish line. I had to zoom in my focus. I had to defeat the negative thinking. I had to gain victory over my challenges and my struggles. I had to take dominion over that situation. And with determination, belief, and focus, I overcame that obstacle, that challenge, that struggle. I conquered that struggle. I completed the task. I finished the course. And I did something that I've never done in the history of my life. So for me, what an accomplishment. I had to fight through the many battles of the mind and the body to conquer in the defeat and to have victorious in completing my first half a marathon, 13.1 miles. That's not a joke. So I had to conquer. And I'm trying to tell somebody, you got to conquer your struggles, you got to conquer your challenges, you got to conquer your obstacles. I had to conquer that obstacle. I had to take dominion over that thing. I did something that I've never done before. I conquered! And the Bible teaches us that we're more than conquerors through Him who loves us. Over that situation, I became victorious. Now, last night and right now, I'm in a recovery stage. Sore, aches, pains, tightness. Took a hot bath and got a hot bath waiting on me now. But I still showed up to complete this coaching show. I could have easily said I can't do it. So in closing, in order for you and I to, now use my yesterday situation to to hopefully help you overcome the struggles that you personally have, overcome the challenges that you're going through right now. Some of you have challenges you don't believe who you really are. You're more than a conqueror through him. You're fearfully and you're wonderfully made. Some of you are struggling in some areas of fear and doubt, low self-esteem. Some of you have struggles of depression and rejection or acceptance. Remember, you got to have the courage to deal with it. You got to confront that situation. You can't let that situation take dominion over you. You got to confront it. You got to have confidence. Confidence in God, confidence in yourself, confidence in your ability. That God is for you, he's with you, and he's also in you. And then you got to conquer it. You got to defeat it. You got to get victory over it. You got to take dominion over that thing. And when you do that, you can do something that you've never done before. And that's a word. We are in a season that we are doing, this is a season to do something that you've never done before. So you got to be more than an overcomer. You got to be more than a conqueror. You got to become victorious over the challenges and the obstacles and the struggles of life. We all go through it. So you got to admit that you got struggles. I just took you through a whole coaching show of the mental and the physical struggles, and I used the marathon race that I was in. That was no joke. It was a struggle. My body's feeling it right now. Back is tightening up. Knees are aching. Foot is hurting. I'm going to take a hot bath soon. Ooh, Lord. But I did something that I've never done before in my life. And so can you overcome your own personal challenges, your own personal obstacles, your own personal struggles. Remember what David did. David had courage to fight the giant. David confronted the giant. You come at me with a sword, but I come with you in the name of the Lord, the host of the Lord. David had confidence. The same God that's been with me to defeat the lion and the giant is the same God that's going to help me defeat you, Goliath. I'm just paraphrasing that. He had confidence in his ability. I go. I take my slingshot and my rock. So you got to have confidence in yourself and the confidence in your ability. And David conquered that giant. Watch this. While the whole army of Israel hid themselves. While everybody else around you are hiding. Or everybody else around you that are comfortable where they are. Complacent where they are. Stuck in their own fear. That's why you got to be free from people's opinions. The greatest deliverance you can begin to deliver, why? Is to be delivered by people's opinion. That's why the Bible teaches us it's better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. And many of us have been conditioned but through tradition, and we believe what people say. But if you're going to be free, you got to be free in the Lord, free in his word, free in his ways. And not try to copycat your life after other people. I told you in the middle of the race, people were walking, people were stopping. I had made up my mind that I was not going to quit. I wasn't going to stop. And I had to push through the struggle. The mental struggle, the physical struggle. That mind is a very powerful thing. I had to keep encouraging myself in the Lord, encourage myself in my mind. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And I did it. I finished. I've never, I keep saying this, ever ran 13.1 miles. And I did it yesterday. I I overcame the struggle. It was a challenge. I overcame the challenge. It was obstacles. I had many times where I wanted to quit and stop and walk and just say, just finish it. Whether you walk it or run it. Everybody else is walking and running. They were just trying to finish it. But I said I was going to run the whole time. And through that struggle of what I said, I believed what I said. And I didn't give up. I didn't quit. I didn't lose no focus. I overcame those obstacles. And just like David conquered the giant. I conquered that obstacle, that challenge, those struggles, mentally and physically, that I was facing in the process. And whatever you're trying to do, write that book, start that business, you're going to have some struggles and some challenges, but you are more than a conqueror. You are an overcomer. You can do it. So, I'm over time. This is the season of doing something that you've never done before. Going to another level. I got a medal yesterday, y'all. A medal of achievement and accomplishment. Oh, man. I did something I never done before. I got victory over that thing. Wow. I can check that off in my life. You accomplished something else. Now, what's next? What's next? What's next? So as long as God gives you and I another day, another opportunity, we got to say, what's next? So again, in closing, I'm your coach, Don Jenkins, with your motivational coaching word for the day: overcoming obstacles or overcoming struggles. You have to have courage to deal with it. You have to confront that situation. You got to face it. You have to have confidence. Not only you have to have confidence in God, but you have to have confidence in yourself. You can do it. And you have to have confidence in your ability, your energy, your effort, your execution. And then you got to conquer. See those C's? Courage, confront, confidence, and conquer. You got to defeat that thing. You got to gain victory over that thing. You got to take dominion over that thing. I now know I can do a half a marathon. What's next? Whew. Let's not talk about that running again. But what's next? What's next in your life? Listen to me closely, and I'm done. This is the season of doing something that you've never done before. Go for it. Go after it. Go achieve it. Go for it. Go after it. Go achieve it. Let me say that again. Go for it. That's for somebody. Go after it. That's for somebody else. Go achieve it. Go do what you have never done before. Understand it's going to be a process. It's going to be a challenge. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be struggles. But go for it. Go after it. And go achieve it. Overcome those obstacles that are hindering you from being the highest and the best and the greatest expression of who you are. We're waiting for the real you to shine. I'm your coach, Don Jenkins from Supreme Total Fitness Coaching Show. Tune in next week, same time, same channel. If there was something that was said that encouraged you or that challenged you or that motivates you, I'm asking you to motivate me back. Like this show. If you have somebody in your circle that needs to hear how to overcome, because the truth be told, every human being has to overcome something. And to keep getting better, we got to keep overcoming the challenges, the obstacles, the situations. Like it and share it. Like it and share it. Don't just keep it to ourselves. Let's help somebody else. This is why I do this coaching show, because I want to help you or help somebody in your circle. Help somebody that might be in your circle that I might not know, but we can say something that can encourage them, or that can challenge them, or that can motivate them to getting better. We all can get better. Spiritually, you can get better. Physically, you can get better. Mentally, you can get better. Emotionally, you can get better. Spirit, body, and soul. We all can get better. So like it, share it, subscribe to it. I'm on YouTube. Go to the Supreme Total Fitness Coaching Show and subscribe to it. Again, I'm your coach, Don Jenkins, with your motivational word for today: overcoming your obstacles. Take dominion over your life and win. You can do it. You shall do it. You will do it. So have courage to deal with your obstacles. Confront that situation. Have confidence in God, yourself, and your ability. And conquer your challenge, your struggles, your obstacles. Gain victory over it. Take dominion over it. God bless you. And may heaven continuously smile upon you. You can reach me at Coach Don J at gmail.com. Coach Don J at or you can go to Supreme Total, www.supremetotalfitness.com. Reach out to me, encourage me, like it, share this, subscribe to this. God bless you. Have a wonderful day on purpose. And tune in next week. I am your coach, Don Jenkins.